I'm Matthew DeQuattro.
I'm advocating for the extension and expansion of renewable energy. Renewable energy is the power of the future. Generations to come will pay if we don't stop the climate change that is going on today. A United Nations International Panel on Climate Change concluded that the evidence for global warming is incontrovertible and human activity is very likely the cause. There is also a consensus among scientists that humans are the reason for climate change. We need to end and reverse the damages we have done to our Earth. Even though the U.S. is home to 5% of the world's population, we consume 20% of the world's oil and produce 19% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions. Since the Industrial Revolution, atmospheric CO2 levels have risen 30%. What kind of world do we want to leave for our children and our children's children? There's also a monetary cost that we are paying for our stubbornness to change. Heat waves, hurricanes, wildfires, the spreading of diseases, and river flooding caused and amplified by climate change cost the United States over $14 billion between 2002 and 2009. Coal, the dirtiest form of energy, provides 45% of the electricity in the U.S. Not only does coal contribute to greenhouse gas emissions, but the process of mining it is also environmentally harmful. Mountaintop removal mining devastated over 1.4 million acres of land in Kentucky, Virginia, and West Virginia. This is why the United States needs to expand its efforts to develop and improve renewable energy technology. There will be no need for this harmful mining, and global warming will slow if we can move away from dirty energy. Energy independence will also be within our grasp because the United States will end its reliance on foreign oil. Being a Reformed Jew, it troubles me that our oil comes from past and present enemies of Israel. These purchases of oil support the economies of dangerous countries. Judaism also teaches us that humans were put on this earth to take care of it. In Genesis it says, God took the man and placed him in the Garden of Eden to till and tend it. And in Midrash it proclaims, when God first created the human being, God led them around the Garden of Eden and said, look at my works. See how beautiful they are, how excellent. For your sake I created them all. Take care not to spoil or destroy my world, for if you do, there will be no one to repair it for you. Judaism has taught me that humans should not abuse their power over nature, and we should respect all other plants and animals that live on this earth. The wildlife that lives on our planet is paying for what humans have caused. Humans will also pay, and future generations will be handed a damaged earth because of our faults. Jewish text states, one generation passes away and another generation comes, but the earth remains forever. We need to change our ways and work towards a greener earth.
I too am advocating for a larger percentage of renewable energy sources in the United States. We are here to ask you to reintroduce the American Renewable Energy Production Tax Credit Extension Act, labeled Senate Bill 2201, along with reintroducing a bill to amend the Public Utility Regulatory Policies Act of 1978 to establish a renewable electricity standard and for other purposes, labeled Senate Bill 741. Climate change has affected us in past years and will continue to affect us in years to come. The most recent effect of climate change was Hurricane Sandy, and it had a huge impact on all of us in Rhode Island. Thousands of people lost power, some lost homes, and even more lost their vehicles. Since the ocean waters were warmer due to global warming, the effects of Hurricane Sandy were intensified to an even deadlier level. If the climate wasn't so bad right now, many of the 132 people that perished during the hurricane would have survived. One way to help slow the effects of global warming would be to grow our renewable energy industry. This is why we would like to ask you to reintroduce the American Renewable Energy Production Tax Credit Extension Act, labeled Senate Bill 2201, and the bill to amend the Public Utility Regulatory Policies Act of 1978 to establish a renewable electricity standard and for other purposes, labeled Senate Bill 741. The American Renewable Energy Production Tax Credit Extension Act was introduced by Representative David Reichert that would extend tax credits through energy sources through 2016. Qualifying energy sources include wind, biomass, geothermal or solar energy, landfill gas, trash, qualified hydropower, and marine and hydrokinetic renewable energy facilities. Since the fiscal cliff deal only extended the production tax credit for 1 year, we would like to have an extension beyond that. The bill to amend the Public Utility Regulatory Policies Act of 1978 to establish a renewable energy standard and for other purposes was introduced by New Mexican Senator Jeff Bingaman. This bill sought to require energy companies to produce a minimum amount of their electricity from renewable energy sources. In 2013, companies would have been required to generate 6% of their energy from renewable sources with that percentage increasing at a steady rate of 1.6% every year until reaching 25% in 2025. The topic of climate change and global warming is very important to both the United States and the entire world. If we don't change the way we produce our energy now, the world will be a worse place for generations to come.